hello again. We have another unprepared question
Unprepared.
for Caleb, who is evidently not prepared,
I'm not, it's true.
which is
Yeah.
the point of it. So take one question,
Alright,
please read it out loud,
let's hope for the best.
and if you decide to take it, you will get Rohli check.
Ooh,
Mhm.
excellent. Okay, now I'm motivated. Oh, it's a long one. Oh no. How is it different going to a restaurant in the US compared to Europe? That's an interesting question. All right, I
Can
have
you
some
do
thoughts. Yeah,
Okay,
give me a cookie.
great.
We'll be right back after this cookie.
Not every.
Zdraví. All right, so this will be specifically for Europeans who are used to the European experience of going to a restaurant. The very first thing that comes to my mind is something I love in Europe is that all restaurants have their menu outside of the restaurant. So you can check the prices, you can check what menu items they have. Some restaurants are starting to do this in the US, but it's still very rare and it's not required, which means you will have to enter the restaurant hoping that it has the right price or check the menu online. Like most of them have the menu online, but you won't find it posted outside of the restaurant usually. Once you go inside, if you are planning to drink alcohol, I'm sure you know this, but you will be asked for your identification for alcohol. If you're under 21, you will not be allowed to drink. Europe is starting to be a little bit more strict about this, but still, I think, I can't remember the last time in the Czech
Europe
Republic.
it's 18.
Right.
It's lower.
That's probably why I haven't been asked for my card in a long time. And some states are so strict that waiters will just ask for your identification no matter who you are. Like you could be 60 and they'll still ask for it just because it's their policy.
Okay.
Because some states actually have people from the government who go to restaurants and check
Test them.
if they get carded, we call it.
Yeah.
And if the waiter doesn't card them, they could be in trouble.
Carded. I like
Yeah,
it.
they get
Word.
carded. Yeah. So even being above 30, let's say, in American restaurants, I'm still not very surprised when I get carded.
Okay.
Doesn't really happen in European restaurants that much, but be prepared for that. It means if you're planning to drink alcohol, have your identification with you, because if you don't, even if you know that you're 40 years old, but if they decide to card you and you don't have your card, you won't be able to drink. Also, for Europeans to be aware that I think in every state now you can't you can't smoke inside the restaurant. There's no like smoking section. So this is now closer to Europe, but I know 15 years ago in the Czech Republic, every pub, hospoda, was full of smoke.
True.
It's not the case anymore in Europe either, but in the US even more so. You will have to go outside if you want to smoke. Now, when you're looking at the menu, something to remember, and that most Europeans are surprised by, is the size of the portions. The goal of an American restaurant in most cases is to make you completely stuffed and maybe to not even be able to finish your plate. Sometimes it feels like the restaurant...
So they can charge more?
No. Just because there is the expectation from the average American that they will be 100% full from the meal at a restaurant. If they're not, they will think it was not sufficient. So definitely, it's much more likely to have leftovers at the end of your meal when you can't eat anymore in an American restaurant compared to a European restaurant.
And compared to US, can you take the leftovers with you?
Absolutely. So you just ask for a takeaway box, or sometimes we say a doggy bag. I don't know why. Maybe because
And they charge you for the doggy bag?
they shouldn't.
They
No,
shouldn't.
al-
Because
almost
in
never.
Czech, they would.
No, they wouldn't. And I feel like in Europe, in some countries in Europe, it's still a little bit strange to ask to take something away, maybe a little bit. In the US, it's completely normal. Like, never hesitate to ask the waiter, like, can I take this
In
away?
Czech Republic, it's
You think so?
No.
I always feel like they're a little bit surprised, or maybe they won't have a box or something.
For me, when I don't like finish it and there's like half of it,
Mm-hmm.
they will even sometimes suggest it.
Okay.
But if it's like one potato, of course. Then
Can I take this piece of parsley away with
Yeah.
me? Yeah. But in the
and
US,
if it's
really
in the
normal.
restaurant, they will not charge you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Only if it's like a bistro, they will charge you.
So be prepared that the main courses usually will be really
Mhm.
big. There'll be a lot of food there. Then you're getting the bill, and the things to be aware of when
You
you're
have to
looking at the
ask for it,
prices.
right?
You ask for the bill.
Mhm.
Now, in some American restaurants, you might get the feeling that after you're finished with your food, the waiter will keep coming back asking if you want anything else.
Mhm.
Probably you have the correct impression that the waiter is implying if you're not going to order something else, you should go. He won't say that,
Yeah.
but I feel like not so much in the Czech Republic, but like in Germany, in France, if you want to stay there for an hour after your meal,
Mhm.
that's kind of part of the culture. In the U.S.,
Yeah.
they want that table for someone else. Like,
Mhm.
That's how the waiters work. So if you want to stay longer, maybe order a coffee or a drink or something that you don't finish. Otherwise, they will keep coming back saying, "So what's up? Can I have the table back?"
Mhm.
When you ask for the bill, the thing to remember first is that the price that you see on the menu
Mhm.
does not include sales tax.
Mhm.
So if you're just adding up the prices of the items in your head, the total that you see on the bill will be higher than that, depending on the state. And it can vary a lot depending on the state, between 0 and even over 10%. And what's also not included,
Or
the tip.
the
Yeah.
tip. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
The tip.
I was just thinking, like, it's such a trap. That's when you get my brainstorming away. It's such a twist trap because you go to America, you heard it's expensive in the restaurant. You go inside, you look at the menu. Wow, it's so cheap, but it won't be at the end. Actually,
It won't be at the end.
because it could be like how many percent more? Because when you look at it, it's
Could
like
be-
one price. It could be like almost double price because there's no tax.
Could be 30-35%
Yeah.
more than you expected.
Yeah, so it could be like actually.
I
double
mean, it's
the
not a
price.
trap because it's the same for Americans. It's just that Americans,
It's not a trap for
Know
Americans,
that.
but like it's a trap for somebody who's first timers.
it's a shock. Honestly, after living in Europe for so many years, it takes a long time for me to get used to it back in the States, of knowing that the bill will be so much higher than the items
Yeah.
that I ordered. Because then tipping, we've talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
like 10% is kind of insulting. It should be 15 to 20% of your total. That total that includes the sales tax.
It doesn't matter if you are satisfied or not. Like if you are satisfied, you put more, and if you are not, you just do the
If
level
you're,
you should.
for me, and I would not say I'm a generous tipper,
Mhm.
but in the US, if I'm really satisfied and it was great, I would tip maximum 25%. Now, some
Yeah.
people, if they really had an amazing meal, an amazing
Mhm.
waiter, they would tip more than 25%.
If you are
Then
not
20%.
satisfied,
If you're not satisfied, I think most Americans would just tip 10%, and that would already be saying,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
if you tip nothing, it means you will never come back to that restaurant. And you will get some hard stares from the waiter when they are bringing your change or scanning your card or something. If you're paying by card, here in the Czech Republic, like they come to you with the machine,
Yep.
and you tell them how much you want to pay.
Mhm.
It won't work like that in the US. You put your card in the little bill,
Yeah.
they take it to the front desk,
Uh-huh.
they scan it, and they bring back the receipt, and on the receipt you write how much you want to pay finally, so adding the tip,
Oh, okay.
and then you leave the receipt. So they will not see how much you're tipping until you leave.
Mhm.
So if it was really horrible, you could pay by card, they'll scan it, and then you just put 0
Mhm.
tip, and then you never come back.
And is it written like on the menu or the receipt that the tip is not included, and you should give some?
No, it's assumed. It's never
assumed
included.
It's
It
everywhere.
will never be included.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe in some really fancy, like,
It could be like a
place in the
different
center.
culture restaurant. It could
yeah,
be different, but
it might say, like,
American one.
tip is already
All
included.
states.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last thing, as we're talking about waiters and tipping, the last
Mm-hmm.
thing to remember is expect the waiter to be over the top friendly. Like, don't be
Mm-hmm.
surprised if he almost scares you when he comes. It happens like this every time I go back to the US after a few years abroad.
Mm-hmm.
I have culture shock because I sit down at a restaurant, I'm just waiting for the menu to be brought, and the waiter says, "Hi, my name is John, I'll be your waiter today. It's great to have you guys here. Like, we're really excited. Can I recommend the specials?" And I'm always thinking like,
Distance.
whoa, like either we are friends from that I don't recognize you, or you need to back off, man.
Yeah.
This is very, very common. They will try to be your friend.
Oh.
And part of it is because they want to encourage you to leave a good tip.
Yeah,
Part of it
yeah.
is the American
That's
culture
understandable.
that in the service industry you should make the customer really happy and be very friendly, and that's it's not completely just for the money, but part of it is.
It's a nice idea if it's not overdone.
Often, for me, I feel like it's often overdone. So, like the standard Central European or East Asian, I think, being in an American restaurant could be a bit shocked.
Okay.
But feel free also to play with it. Like, it means you can also be friendly with them, ask them questions, ask them how their day is going, and that's completely normal to actually have a short conversation. So it doesn't need to be one-sided. Like, it's the way to make it more comfortable.
Okay.
I think that's all of the main differences between American and European restaurants. Like, then, yeah, if we're talking about different European countries, there are other things.
So does all the American restaurants have possibility to pay by card?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like any old restaurant.
I think even like a food truck on the street these days, you would be able to pay by card.
Even ice cream.
Yeah.
Card. Yeah.
Probably. It's been a long time since I got
Okay, that's a good
ice cream from an
information.
ice cream truck. But these days, I would guess that it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It was very interesting.
Thank you for the answers.
I hope it was very interesting. I found it interesting to think about the differences.
Well, it
Yeah.
seems like you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, make a comment,
Yep.
and subscribe for more videos.
If you had some interesting experiences in American restaurants, please let us know. And we'll see you in the next video.
See you.